And anyone can bid. You've just got to be certain that you can afford to pay for what you bid for.
So let's see what today's bidders decided to buy at auction.
In Congleton, Cheshire, the wooden beams aren't quite what they seem.
I say wood, that's some kind of faux wood.
In London, there's more than meets the eye to this developer. He's also a property solicitor.
I used to see a lot of clients make a bob or two on the property game.
And what could be hiding in this mysterious building in West Glamorgan?
Can you guess what it is? It's actually the former ambulance station.
All of these properties have been sold at auction. We'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
Sold 291.
Congleton in Cheshire has a strange link with a very unexpected animal, the bear. Unfortunately, though, this isn't a cuddly bear story. Nowadays, bear baiting in the UK would be unthinkable, but this blood sport once brought in huge crowds. Congleton became notorious in the 1620s when money saved to buy a Bible for the town was used instead to buy a bigger bear. Hence its peculiar nickname, Bear Town. There are still a few bears in town, but thankfully better treated.
I want to give you a bear hug.
Well, being only 30 minutes from Manchester by train, a lot of people move to Congleton for the quieter life. Well, if that's what you're looking for, the property I'm here to see really won't suit. This is it, 2 bedrooms, £40,000 was the guide price. But before we go in, I've got to show you this. The reason it's so bad if you're looking for peace and quiet is because not only is it on a main road, it's right by these traffic lights. So you don't get the constant vroom, vroom, the cars and the lorries and whatever else. You get them stopping at the lights and starting their engines up and nightmare. OK, that's the bad bit. Let's find out what it's got to offer. Ooh. That's not ideal, is it? Yeah, the electric cupboard. Just there, behind the door, to a point that you... Well, no, not ideal. So, after that slightly startling start, what have we got? Oh, lots of stuff on the walls, that's for sure. But a little corridor. Front living room there. Apart from the fact that it's got 2 sides facing the roads, so you do get so much noise. It's not a bad-sized space. It's only got lots of character. There's beamy things going on. Another beam here to watch your head on that. Through to a rear sitting room, and then straight away, one thing that I really like about the place, it's got character. I mean, look at this for a fireplace. Now, whatever you think of it, it's not boring, is it? And actually, I think if you got rid of this top bit maybe, made that smooth, painted that perhaps a different colour, that would be a really interesting feature. But things like staircase returns here, I'm not sure that needs a bit of investigating. But there's lots of wood going on. I say wood. Closed for inspection. That isn't, is it? That's some kind of concrete-y, fiberglassy, plastery faux wood, sort of thing you have in theme parks where it looks like boulders and stuff, but somebody's gone to a lot of trouble to put it on. Anyway, through there to this area here, this is the kitchen, through to the bathroom. I mean, for that 40,000 quid, I know it's got a few quirky things about it, but it's not a bad house, is it?
Not bad at all. Headroom is at a premium, but removing the wooden beams may help with that. Having a bathroom downstairs isn't ideal either, but is standard in these types of houses. But those really steep stairs, well, they ring alarm bells.
Well, top of the stairs and a real safety issue, a potential disaster waiting to happen here. Because look what you've got. Fair enough, top of the stairs, bit of a landing area going into that bedroom, but nothing here apart from this tiny little area here when you come out of this bedroom here. So the danger of basically stepping off there and falling down the stairs is huge. That wants to be sorted, especially if you're looking at renting this place out. You'd be legally obliged to do that. Maybe you could create some kind of a landing area by taking out a bit of that wall, sneaking a bit of room out of that bedroom. It could certainly cope with that, but For me, that is one of the big priorities.
This is the sort of thing that would never pass current building regulations. And if you were to rent this out, you'd have an obligation to make this house safe for your tenant. Aside from that issue, there are 2 good-sized bedrooms up here, but shiver me timbers, more of those beams. The rooms are nice and bright, but I think I would want to get rid of these leaded windows and get some double, maybe even triple glazing to keep the noise out. The floor definitely has a slope, so a structural survey is a must. Let's head outside to see if that's on the straight, but hopefully not narrow.
Well, if you're looking for a house with lots of outside space, you need to look somewhere else, because literally all you have got is that little bit of courtyard. That bit there actually belongs to the next door neighbours. Now, it's not ideal, but trying to find a plus point here, if you're looking to rent this place out, tenants generally don't like large gardens, something they have to look after at least. So what you've got here is space for your bins, maybe somewhere you can put your bikes. So that's a positive.
Perhaps a local estate agent might like to borrow my rose-tinted spectacles. What does he reckon about this property, guided at £40,000?
The property has a need of a full scheme of refurbishment. I also think there is some structural issues to the left-hand side of the property. In the second bedroom, the floor runs out to the side elevation wall and has quite a large slope and makes you feel like you've had a few too many glasses of wine.
Well, I think we can agree it will be a while before anyone sits back with a glass of wine here. There is a lot of work to do. Would it be worth it?
You're probably looking to achieve somewhere in the region between £75,000 to £80,000. If the property was placed onto the rental market, I would expect to achieve somewhere in the region of £400 to £450 per calendar month.
Well, it's certainly a house with lots of character. Some would call it quirky. Not an ideal location, but remember that guide price, £40,000. I actually think it's a really good one to go for. Let's see who agreed when it went under the hammer.
It's a 2-bedroomed end terraced house. I have a proxy bid on this of £28,000. So bid with me at £28,000. Looking for 30 in the room. £30,000 in the room at £30,000. 31 with me. 32, 33 with me, 34, at 34 I'm out, at £34,000, 34,500, 35, 35, and the 500. No, at 35,000, right in the middle, at £35,000. Right at the back now, 35,500, 36, 36, 36 and a half, 37. No, at 36 and a half by the light, at £36,500. 37 anywhere else? If not, 36,500 once, 36,500 twice, third and final time, 36,500. You're lost, well done.
Julia made that successful bid of £36,500. That's £3,500 below the guide price. Julia and her husband Mike are relative novices when it comes to property development, with 2 previous developments their only experience. However, they're keen to get going with their latest purchase, and I met full-time mum Julia back at the property to find out their plans.
Julia, great to meet you.
And you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What an interesting little place this is. Tell me why you wanted to buy it.
Mainly the price. It was the right price. And I know this area a little bit, so I knew that the price was a good price for this area, really.
And why do you think it was that price?
Probably because it needs quite a bit of work doing to it. And it's got a bathroom downstairs, which doesn't appeal to everybody, so, yeah, it kept it low.
On the slopey floor bit?
Yeah, I guess the slopey floor might have something to do with it.
And a slightly weird interior decor, perhaps?
Yes, it needs, yes, a bit of work, doesn't it?
What do you plan to do to it?
Most things, really. It needs the damp sorting out, needs replastering, it needs rewiring, it's got no central heating, the upstairs floor needs sorting out, new windows.
And kitchen?
Kitchen, bathroom, yeah, all that needs ripping out and starting again.
Julia's certainly made a great assessment of the tasks ahead, and I'm delighted to say has in her sights one of the main difficulties I can see about the house, that staircase.
So what are the plans for that?
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, OK.
Yeah, I'll need to get somebody in and have a look, but if we can try and rearrange it, maybe bring it further out this way so that we can get a proper landing at the top.
And what about all this wood, stroke, concrete, stroke, fiberglass, stroke, whatever it is?
Yeah, it needs to go, really, doesn't it?
Well, somebody's gone to such a lot of trouble to put it in. It's a shame to say yes, but yes.
It does, it needs to go. I think it takes up a lot of space as well. We'll get rid of that, open it up a bit.
It's not the biggest of houses. You know, it's not small, but it's not massive. And it probably doesn't help creating more feeling of space, does it?
Right. We'll try and maximise on the space that we've got, so...
Now, one big negative, if there are any, is the location. Good and bad. Good in terms of what it's close to, but right on this junction, I mean, you can hear the traffic. It's, you know, this isn't even peak time, is it?
No.
Can't do anything about that though, apart from putting triple glazing.
New windows, yeah. I think we'll try and do the best we can with the windows, and like I say, other than that, I think, you know, I've lived on a busy road and you get used to it. So I think as a rental property, I don't think that will be too much of an issue. So.
And that's the plan, is it, to rent it out?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Well, before Julia can look for any renters, she's got a long list of pretty big jobs to get done, although she does have a fairly healthy budget of around £23,000 and a timescale of 3 to 4 months to get this dated and wonky house ready for the rental market.
So, how involved are you going to be with it?
I will be here most days to make sure that everything's going according to plan.
But you'll be telling other people what to do?
Exactly. Yes. I like to plan things. I like to do the shopping for the kitchen and the bathroom and all that. But luckily, I've got a very good builder who knows a lot of people, and we've used people in the past for projects. So, you know, hopefully I won't need to get hands-on at all.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thank you very much.
So it looks like the fake wood is destined to go in Julia's renovation of this little property in Congleton. It's one of those ones that is going to be dramatically different when we return. Can't wait to see what it looks like. You can find out later in the show.
And talking of dramatically different, it's hard to believe that Willesden, here in North London, was once a rural village with a population of less than 20,000. In the late 1800s, the population grew to 140,000 in just 25 years, thanks to the arrival of the railway.
Yes, I would spend my life in railway station.
The property I'm here to see today is part of these Victorian terraces, probably built around the time of the railway station. Well, it's in here, it's on the first floor, it's a one-bedder and it has a guide price of £260,000 plus. Let's see what those good old Victorians built. First things first, in through the front door. And a flight of stairs to negotiate. Now, I'm not going to let that put me off, although the decor might. So a lot in this flat needs doing, but only decoration and carpets and painting. Lots of egg yolk yellows everywhere and oranges. Bathroom and through to the back room, painted in a very interesting sorbet tangerine colour. But this is what I can't believe. Look how close you are to the tube station. Look. They literally are in your back garden. Now, let's do a sound test. Doesn't make that much difference. So could it be a positive? Could it be a negative? I'm not quite sure. It depends how quickly you need to get into town.
If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.
For some, being that close to transport is a dream, and for others, oh, it'll send you off the rails. Getting this flat's decor back on track is something you can control. Oranges aren't the only colour.
It's almost like this flat has got a pulse, because when the trains go, the flat just slightly moves. You've got the kitchen just here, which is a great size. There's a table in there, so you can sit down and eat. And through here, Well, this is the front of the property. This is currently laid out as the bedroom. Now, I am thinking it would be served so much better as a living room, a cosy lounge. Why do you think this is the bedroom? Do you think it's too noisy at the back? If you slept at the back, you could hear the trains. What do you think? I don't know. I'm going to leave that one with you. But I think if this were mine, actually, I might swap it over.
Let's see what a local estate agent makes of this flat, guided at $260,000.
I think the property offers excellent potential. It's currently laid out as quite a spacious one-bedroom, but these days you could quite comfortably make it into a 2 double-bedroom property.
So he thinks converting the lounge into a second bedroom could be another option. How would that affect the values?
So if you were to keep this property laid out as it is, but in good condition, you'd be looking around £350,000 for sales, and you'd be looking around £1,300 per calendar month for the lettings market. If you were to convert this into a 2-bedroom property, it'd be 2 double bedrooms, and you'd be looking at £400,000 for sales, and you'd be looking around £1,500 per calendar month for the lettings market.
Well, this little flat over a few levels certainly has character and lots of exciting options. You could do a simple refurb, or you could think about a complete overhaul. But is it too near to that train station, or will people absolutely love that? Let's see what happens when this property went under the hammer.
1-bed, first floor flat, 250. Thank you, 250. 255 anywhere? Got 250 standing up at the back. Anyone else? It's with you. 255, thought you had it. 260.
Bidding started a little sluggish, but it soon became a nerve-jangling battle. We rejoined the bidding at $275,000.
275. 276, 277, 278, 279, 280, 281, 282, 283, 284, 285, 286. Round it off a bit, might be one more go, yeah. 286, 287, 287, 288, 289, 290. Let's go 290. They're struggling a bit. 290, well done. 291. 291. 291. Didn't ask you now. 292, but I've got to. 291. Have a think. 292 elsewhere. We've got 291 standing up. First time. Second time. Third and last time. Have you all done? Sold 291.
Raj was the successful bidder. He and his business partner finally purchasing the property for $291,000. And he's definitely in the know when it comes to property. Not only is Raj local, he has another ace up his sleeve. I met him to find out how he knows all the right steps.
Raj, congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed, thank you.
So here you have a 1-bedroom flat.
That's right, that's right.
With a tube station right there. I mean, is that handy? Is that going to put buyers off? What do you think?
I think it may put some buyers off, but the real charm of this property is actually the location of the station. It's about 10 minutes into central London to get to Bond Street and about 15, 20 minutes into Canary Wharf. So that is actually one of the charms and the reason we actually chose this location.
So tell me, what is your knowledge of property?
Well, by profession, I am actually a property solicitor, and that's what actually inspired me to actually try a bit of dab hand at property developing. I used to see a lot of clients make a bob or two on the property game, so I always used to think I'm on the wrong end of the transaction. Then after lots of hard work and perseverance, I got my first property about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've done a few projects myself, and this one is together with my business partner, and I've done a handful with him as well.
And of course you hope to make a bob or two yourself.
We would hope so. We would hope so. We know the market around this area, so we know what prices would fetch, but we can sit out the market as well. If the resale value isn't favourable, we will definitely leave it to rent out and ride the highs and lows of the property markets for the next years to come.
OK, talking like a true professional. So what advantage do you have over somebody else that may just go to a property auction?
I think I knew the legalities of it. I know in your show, Martin and yourself are always telling people to look at the legal pack. So whenever the legal packs are there for any property myself or my business partner are interested in, I scrutinise it with a fine-tooth comb, make sure there's no sort of hidden extras or hidden muckies or special conditions which could be overly onerous on me.
Absolutely. That is the one thing Martin and I always preach on about.
No, absolutely.
It's so important because you can get little loopholes, covenants, all sorts of stuff that creep up in a legal pack. See, it's not just Martin and I that swear by the legal pack, and Raj is ready to rewrite the laws of this flat's layout.
So what we're looking to do is we're looking to reconfigure the property. At the moment, it's a one-bedroom. So what we're going to be doing is taking the wall down between the current bedroom and the actual kitchen and relocating the kitchen into an open plan area. And the front bedroom will actually become the open plan living area with the kitchen combined.
So you're looking at creating a lounge kitchen area, one space.
That's right.
And making that tiny little bit left over a bedroom.
It can work. It has worked on previous projects, but it can actually work.
That is going to be a shoebox, but I know we're in London and we are literally a stone's throw from the tube. But that is going to be a very small room. In all honesty, now come on, this is your game. How much value can you add by doing that?
We would hope a little bit. We've spoken to a few agents and knowing from some of the projects we've done in the past as well, you're right, we are in London. Even that small second bedroom where you can just about squeeze that second bedroom in, it does actually make it worth doing.
So when you're looking at the property particulars, you're like, oh, this is a two-bedder.
Yes,
So you think that's just going to be an advantage to anybody else looking to sell a one-bed?
I think most certainly, and from a rental point of view as well. I mean, if it was a young professional who's perhaps working in town, they've got that second bedroom, you know, a guest stay over or so forth. We definitely think it will give us that edge.
So rather than just make the lounge a second bedroom, Raj wants to knock down a wall and extend the current master bedroom to use some of the kitchen area. Whatever's left of the kitchen can be a bedroom, a tiny bedroom. It's all very well me banging on about the size of that room, but this is London. Could Raj be right? His tangerine dream might give you nightmares if you live anywhere else. London? He knows his stuff. He's given himself 2.5 months to sort this flat out. So what's his budget to tackle this?
So come on, how much are you going to spend here?
We've got a budget for being £15,000 to £20,000. I think from previous experience, that's a fair estimate. But obviously, we always have a contingency. You never know something, you know, some ugly's made from...
Oh, you're so sensible. If there's any man that's going to do it right, it's going to be you.
Well, I really hope so, Lucy.
Checklist Raj.
Really hope so, Lucy.
Are you that strict? Are you that stringent with everything you do? It's got to be by the book.
I think sometimes, but sometimes I get lazy. I know there can be delays, and sometimes builders don't turn up, sometimes materials are not available, and sometimes I can't be bothered to get out of bed as well.
I bet that bugs you like crazy, because I know that you like everything just so. Well, I just hope you do end up making a bob or two.
Thank you very much indeed,
That's
Lucy.
what it's all about for you.
Absolutely.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Thank you so much.
So, property solicitor turned property developer Raj has his latest property for his portfolio. And if it all goes to plan, then he is potentially looking at a nice, tidy profit. But does he really think bedroom number 2 is worthwhile? Taking that wall down, is it really going to add that much value? You can find out if Raj does make his bob or two later on in the programme.
There's big plans to sort out this ambulance station's ills.
There's going to be an extension and eventually then be a swimming pool out on the side.
And has our property solicitor caught the development bug?
We'll definitely be hitting the auction room again, hope to buy sooner rather than later.
Time to return now to our 2-bedroom end terraced house with a guide price of £40,000, situated in the Cheshire town of Congleton.
Come on and do the conga. It's conga night for sure.
No, Congleton. Oh, never mind. The house had some, let's say, eccentricities, including some dangerous-looking stairs, a slope on the first floor, and fake wood everywhere. It wasn't without its charms, though.
Straight away, one thing that I really like about the place, it's got character. I mean, look at this for a fireplace. Now, whatever you think of it, it's not boring, is it?
Bonkers.
In spite of these quirks, I still thought it was a lot of house on offer for a guide price of $40,000. And it was even better value for Julia, the successful bidder, as she paid just £36,500 at the auction. She was looking to let out the property and knew what needed doing.
And what about all this wood, stroke, concrete, stroke, fiberglass, stroke, whatever it is?
Yeah, it needs to go, really, doesn't it?
Well, somebody's gone to such a lot of trouble to put it in. It's a shame to say yes, but yes.
6 months have passed and we've returned to Congleton to see if Julia's managed to turn this house from fake wood into really good. I think we can safely say Julia's dragged this oddity back into the 21st century. With new windows throughout, that traffic noise is much more tolerable, and those stairs aren't scaring me anymore, which is always nice. Julia's even put some wood back in. Real this time.
Okay, the main things that we've changed since you were here last is the windows were replaced. We've taken most of the walls back to brickwork and replastered, rewired. New kitchen, new bathroom, new floors upstairs, new flat roof. Most things that could be done have been done.
And the house looks all the better for it. It's not just been a redecoration either. Julia's also reconfigured some of the rooms to make better use of the space.
Okay, so this originally was the dining area, and it had quite a large fireplace in the corner, which we removed, which has opened it up nicely and given us quite a bit more space. So we decided to put the kitchen mainly in this bit. Previously, it was just in the far side, which just wasn't enough space to get everything in, really. So this has allowed us to get all the modern appliances in, and we've taken a lot of the fake beams out as well, which has opened it up and brightened it as well. So it's a nice light airy space, which we're really pleased with.
So, farewell then, false wooden beams, gone to the great prop store in the sky. And I don't want to be cruel, but I'm glad. The house looks so much more spacious, but it's not just cosmetic changes Julia's made. Along with new windows and a new flat roof, there was a sloping floor upstairs that needed sorting.
Okay, so in here, originally the floor was quite sloping. So we pulled up the floorboards and realised that the floor throughout upstairs was needing to be replaced because the joists were quite rotten. So we've done that and that sorted the problem out. We also changed the position of the door because originally the door was going out onto the staircase, which wasn't very safe. So we made a little landing by using some of the space from the main bedroom, which has worked a lot better, so that's great.
No more wonky floor and dangerous staircase, just 2 solid bedrooms. But building work can be expensive, so I wonder how that ate into Julia's budget. She bought the property for £36,500 and had a budget of £23,000. How did she get on?
It's safe to say that we've totally gone over that with everything. All the estimations were under, really. So we've probably come in at about £40,000 all in.
Ouch, that's almost double her original budget. Those jobs clearly needed doing, but will Julia be able to get her money back? We've asked along 2 local property experts to get their opinion.
Since my last visit to the property, approximately 6 months ago, the owners have made some substantial changes, all in all creating a much lighter, neutral and more attractive property throughout.
Key things buyers are looking for is a good level of finish. The kitchen is very impressive with this property and certainly I would expect it to sell very well.
I think removing certain features such as decorative beams has certainly opened the property up a lot, but they still have retained some of the period features such as the fireplaces, the exposed timber flooring upstairs, which is paramount when selling a property of this character.
Julia's changes are certainly getting a ringing endorsement, but she's now spent £76,500 on the property. How much do our experts think this two-bed terrace is now worth?
If I was to place this property onto the resale market, I would anticipate to achieve a price somewhere in the region of £80,000 to £85,000.
In my opinion, I would value this property at a figure of between £80,000 and £85,000.
That top valuation would give Julia a potential profit of £8,500 before taxes and fees. But Julia always intended to rent, so how do those figures stack up?
If I was to place this property onto the rental market, I would hope to achieve somewhere in the region of £400 to £450 per calendar month.
The rental market is particularly strong in this area. I would expect this to achieve a figure of £425 per calendar month.
I think that's fine, yeah. I suppose 425 was the kind of figure that I was thinking of. So we're about there, aren't we? So that's fine, yeah.
Yes, we certainly are there. That would give her just over 6.5% yield. Pretty good, even though for Julia, it's not all about the money.
I enjoy buying houses that are run down and seeing the potential in them and then seeing them turn round and improved. So definitely pleased that I went to the auction and definitely pleased that I was the one that got this house, so yeah.
I'm in West Glamorgan in the beautiful Welsh Valleys. Over £1 million has been spent on cycleways and paths to open up this region to the tourist trade. It's hoped that tourism will revive the fortunes of places like the village of Cummer, where unemployment rates are quite high and where local industries are few.
Well, today I'm here to see something a little bit unusual. It's not a shop, it's not a garage, it's not a commercial premises or a delivery depot. It's actually this. Can you guess what it is? Give you a moment. It's actually the former ambulance station.
Yes, this little curiosity used to be the garage for the local ambulances. It's seen better days with its boarded up frontage and broken windows. But with a guide price of just £10,000, I think it's worth having a look inside.
Well, the main part of the building, not surprisingly, is this area here, which is, I imagine, where the ambulances were actually stored. It's about 8 metres deep by about 7 metres wide, and a good space. I mean, big, solid floor. And you've got these large sliding doors which open up the whole of the front, which straight away makes me think, great potential for somebody who needs that kind of access, such as maybe a builder's store or a garage or an MOT centre that really needs to be able to get in and out very easily. Yeah, good start. Let's see what else there is.
Taking the stairs up to the first floor, everything feels very institutional, but it's solid enough.
Well, up here, a bit of a disappointment, because the space is only about half what it is downstairs. Primarily this little office area here, little kitchen and a washing area, shower, toilet, etc. there. So, yeah, it's a shame it isn't as big as down there, but you could have kind of predicted that. But in terms of maybe using this as some commercial opportunity, have your area downstairs that you use, this would be the office, yeah, it's got exactly what you need. But maybe there's more.
Of course there's more. Quite a bit more in the form of this land at the side of the building. Ideal for developing, I hear you cry. Well, not quite.
When it comes to the planning classification of this building, it's actually called sui generis, which is Latin for of its own kind or unique. In other words, it's only got planning to be exactly what it is, which is an ambulance station.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
It has a guide of just £10,000, but I think it's going to take some blue sky thinking to really make the most of this place. We asked the agent from the auction house which sold it whether or not there was any chance of turning this into an investment.
I think a local builder or mechanic or somebody looking to store materials would probably pay £150 to £200 per calendar month.
Well, at first glance, an interesting opportunity, this one, but once you delve a little bit deeper, the options do seem to be a little bit limited. I don't think it's financially viable to knock it down and build something in its place. But if the right person needed this kind of space, well, you know, it could be absolutely spot on for them. Let's find out who it was who decided to resuscitate this old ambulance station by going to the auction.
This is on behalf of the Welsh Ambulance Services Trust. I've got a proxy bid here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go straight in the reserve at 12,500. 12,500 is bid. Any advance? 13, thank you. 13,000 is bid. Proxy's out, 13.5. 13.5, 14, 14.5. 14.5, 15, 15.5. 16, 16.5, 17. 17, right, 17 is on you, sir, it's 17,000. 17,000 is bid. Any advance? 17.5, 18, 18.5, 19, 19.5, 20, 20, 20,000 is bid, 20.5, 21, 20, 21.5, 21.5 seated here, 21,500 is bid, 21,500, any advance on 21,500, 22, thank you, 22, half, 20, 22.5, looking for 23, sir, I've got 22.5, 22.5 it is there, now I'm going to sell it at 22.5, I don't see anyone quickly, 22,500, be quick, 22.5, yours sir, 22.5.
The cheerful bidder delighted at getting the former ambulance haul for £22,500 was Peter. Occupational health nurse Peter was at the auction with his son Simon, and as they lived just a mile away from the ambulance station, we caught up with them to hear what made them so excited about this particular property.
Peter, Simon, lovely to meet you both. Congratulations. Tell me why you wanted to buy this place.
Basically, I wanted to turn it into a holiday let for disabled downstairs and abled people upstairs.
So, a holiday let for disabled children or disabled of all ages?
Anyone, any age, yeah.
So why do you want to do that particularly?
Well, I'm a nurse, so I work with obviously all sorts of people, and I just got I feel there's a need for accommodation with disabled in mind in the area.
Have you got much experience of this sort of thing?
I've done up a couple of properties. At the moment, we're doing up a property for Simon, who bought the house at the previous auction. So we're coming to the end of that now, so it's payback time.
And what's your involvement going to be, Simon?
I've been an electrician for about 5 years, so I'm going to try and give my father a hand with the electrics.
Oh, great. And what do you think about the idea of what he's planning in general?
I think it's good. You get a lot of mountain bikers coming around, and I think it's a good idea.
Wow, what an interesting idea. Catering to the holiday market and sports enthusiasts could really make the most of the pair's local knowledge. Peter intends that people paying for accommodation on the top level will help fund holidays for people with disabilities and underprivileged children on the lower level.
Basically, what we can do is keep a garage space for when the disabled need to come in. They can drive in straight into the building, and entrance into the building. There's going to be bedrooms downstairs, an extension out to the side, so to create a big lounge and a kitchen area. And upstairs, I'm going to extend the footprint of the building upstairs to create accommodation upstairs.
Oh, wow. So quite an ambitious plan then.
Yeah, and eventually then be a swimming pool out on the side.
Oh, really? Fantastic.
Swimming pool eventually? My goodness, Peter really does have a vision. However, this is an ambitious project, so how much is it all going to cost?
Approximately about 50,000.
Right. And who's going to do the work?
mainly myself.
Right, well, with the help of your
Yes.
son, obviously.
I'm going to be doing most of the electrics and just helping my father with the labour as well.
So is this designed to be a profit-making venture then?
No, not really. It's just something for me to do. I come up to my retirement. I got about another 4 or 5 years before I retire. And this is my retirement project.
Quite the retirement project. Peter is funding this retirement dream with the sale of his late mother's house, so this really is a project from the heart. But of course, its success all lies on getting planning permission, and Peter doesn't have that yet.
Now, what are you going to do if they say you can't do this?
We'll approach that. We'll only get into that. Basically, I think the property will be sellable if planning permission isn't granted anyway.
Peter and his wife Jeanette are both nurses and work full-time. Their other son Stephen and daughter Catherine are students. All the children have promised to help, but it doesn't sound like they have much spare time.
What's the time scale?
It'll be at least a year. Obviously in full-time employment, so there won't be I couldn't say 6 months.
Right.
It'll be at least a year.
So once you've done this then, any plans for anything else?
No, my wife said this is it.
Well, listen, congratulations. Good luck with it, and I really do wish you all the best with the venture.
Right.
Well, what a potentially lovely new life for this former ambulance station. But of course, it does depend on getting that all-important planning permission. Will Peter get it? You can find out later in the show.
Martin, we have seen the work carried out on the first property, but we've still got 2 more to go.
Yes. Did the developers manage to do what they hoped for and manage to stick to those all-important timescales and budgets?
Should we find out?
Let's do it.
Back to Willesden in North London, a place that was once a village but was transformed to a bustling borough by the arrival of the railway. Unfortunately, the property I went to see was a little too close to the tracks.
Train roll on outside my door down.
And with it also being a bit cramped, it might have ended up feeling like you were living inside a freight train. A sound test was needed.
Doesn't make that much difference. So could it be a positive? Could it be a negative? I'm not quite sure. It depends how quickly you need to get into town.
But jumping on the property train was Raj, a property solicitor, who, along with his business partner, paid $291,000 for this 1-bedroom flat. But he didn't want to keep it a 1-bed for long.
So what we're looking to do is we're looking to reconfigure the property. At the moment, it's a 1-bedroom. So what we're going to be doing is taking the wall down between the current bedroom and the actual kitchen and relocating the kitchen into an open plan area. And the front bedroom will actually become the open plan living area with the kitchen combined.
And making that tiny little bit left over
Yes.
a bedroom?
It can work. It has worked on previous projects, but it can actually work.
With a £20,000 budget and a 2 to 2.5 month timescale, Raj was very confident. So when we return 5 months later, has Raj found that extra space? That original bedroom is now a bright kitchen come lounge. You know, so far I am surprised. This doesn't feel nearly as cramped as I thought it would. The original kitchen is now a 2nd bedroom, and the boiler has been housed in a nice, sleek cabinet. The original bedroom still needs a bit of tidying up, but this reconfiguration and refurbishment is looking good, though maybe not the wow factor I was expecting.
The room which we're currently standing in was actually the former kitchen, and now you can see it's actually become a second bedroom. I think that's worked very well. The back bedroom remains, but at that time there were pretty much dark colours on the wall, so what we've done is we've used neutral colours throughout the flat, new flooring put down. The actual bath suite, we retained the actual one which was there before. We thought that was a good one, but as you can see it's had a good polish up, so we think it sort of fits the bill.
Raj changed his mind about knocking the wall down between what was the lounge and the kitchen to create an open living space. And I think that's a good use of the footprint, and the finish is impressive.
What we've done here is we've made an open plan living area. The initial plan was to actually take down the stud wall and create a little bit of more room, but what we've actually done is we've put the kitchen on this side along the window. Before doing that, we consulted a few agents and they said that was the best way to actually go forward, because that would actually give us a larger second bedroom but still give us the contemporary open plan living with sufficient space. I mean, this has actually been the masterpiece of the whole project, and we're really happy with the result here. It's really been a success, I believe.
So Raj hasn't undertaken a lot of the work he originally thought. Has not replacing the bathroom and keeping that wall saved his budget?
We had initially estimated a budget of £15,000 to £20,000, but that of course involved the taking down of the stud wall and putting in RSJs and so forth. However, because we decided not to go ahead with that, the budget's actually come in significantly under. I think when everything's totally finished, there's a few snagging items to do. I think we will have looked at hitting probably about the £15,000 mark, so we're very, very happy with that.
It's 5 months since we were last here, but Raj let a friend use the flat for 2 months before spending 3 on doing the work, so only a slight expansion on his 2.5-month timescale. And unfortunately, there is one final improvement Raj didn't do. He hasn't changed the windows, and I think that would have made this flat so much more attractive if he decides to sell on. He might not be able to change the trains, but the sound, definitely. But there's only one way to know if Raj is on track for a potential profit, and that's to get a pass from 2 local estate agents.
I don't feel the train line creates such a big problem. It really depends on the sort of tenant or buyer who the property is going to be aimed at. If you do have a young family with children, for example, they are going to have a bit of an issue with the noise at the back. If the property was on the other side of the road, it's going to be a lot quieter. It would create a higher sales and rental figure. But as I said, for the right people, it's not a huge issue. The standard of finish, it's very nice. It's quite basic. It doesn't have the highest character to it, but it's a blank canvas.
The property is a fairly good refurbishment throughout. It's a good conversion from 1 bedroom to 2 double bedrooms, although the compromise is the living space of being a living room kitchen in one.
Paying £291,000 at auction, and with a renovation spend of 15 grand, Raj's total spend is 306,000. So what is the flat worth now?
I feel in the current market, the correct price is £350,000.
I think this property would sell for around £375,000.
I feel the correct rental figure per calendar month is £1,400 in the current market.
I feel this property would rent for around £1,300 to £1,350 per calendar month.
So taking those top values, a sale would give Raj a potential pre-tax profit of £69,000. And if he rented the flat, he could achieve just under a 5.5% yield.
I'm very happy with those values. It's exactly what I'd expected. I think we will market the property at £375,000. And if we can get a resale figure between £350,000 to £375,000, we're more than likely to sell it on. Or if not, we will put it onto the lettings market. But I'm happy to say, with regard to figures, I was right once again.
How do you do, Mr. Right?
Raj truly is Mr. Right, but what can we expect from him next? And does the man with the plan have any advice for us?
We'll definitely be hitting the auction room again, but I think a trick about buying at auctions is to be patient and not to buy in haste and repent at leisure. So most certainly we'll be in the auction room again and hope to buy sooner rather than later.
it's time to return to the valleys and this building, a former ambulance station in the Welsh village of Cummer, West Glamorgan. It had a guide price of £10,000, which seemed reasonable for a lot with a fair bit of land, but there was a problem.
When it comes to the planning classification of this building, it's actually called sui generis, which is Latin for of its own kind or unique. In other words, it's only got planning to be exactly what it is, which is an ambulance station.
So, what to do with it? The imaginative and laudable answer was supplied by Peter, who bought the property for £22,500. With a budget of £50,000 and help from his electrician son, Simon, Peter, an occupational health nurse, saw this as a retirement project and hoped to develop this building into holiday accommodation for touring cyclists. And he planned that the ground floor would be developed specifically to accommodate people with disabilities and underprivileged children.
Basically, what we can do is going to be bedrooms downstairs, an extension out to the side, so to create a big lounge and a kitchen area.
Now, what are you going to do if they say you can't do this?
We'll approach that. When it comes to that.
This was both an exciting and incredibly worthy project, but having paid £12,500 above the guide price and having no planning in place, Peter and Simon were certainly taking a chance. 3 years later, and we've come back to see what's become of Peter's dream project. Well, they took a chance, and it's obvious something's caused delays. Now, I bet you're thinking this is all down to the planning permission. Well, you'd be partly right.
Most of the time has been regarding the planning permission, but there was an issue with obtaining bat and reptile reports. There was one newt found on the property, and we had to take precautions then to remove newts and to observe that there wasn't any further, and also to put up a barrier to stop any coming in.
She's the uninvited guest who lives in our hearts.
Planning regulations often stipulate the protection of wildlife, like owls, bats, and in this case, newts. In Britain, the great crested newt is protected, so if you think you might have newts, you'll have to prepare yourself for some possible delays and expense. Yes, a little reminder that living in the countryside can bring beautiful views, but occasionally unexpected problems. Newt protection and planning permission issues, as well as waiting for the sale of his mother's property, means it's been nearly 3 years since he started. But thanks to his perseverance, Peter's dream can finally be realised, as that particularly tricky planning permission has been granted.
Basically, this is the plan, and the new extension is this section here, which is showed on the side. There's a doorway entry there, which would be catered for the disabled, wheelchair accessible. There's the front elevation of it. There's a pitched roof with 3 skylights going in the roof to create more light into the space. Basically, this is the ground floor of the apartment, and the majority of the work will involve this new extension here, in this section, to create a lounge and kitchen facilities for the disabled unit.
Peter will then divide the main garage section into 5. 3 bedrooms, a garage space cum storeroom, and the bathroom. Upstairs, he plans to extend too.
Basically, through this doorway is going to be access to the new extension, where there's three bedrooms. That's on the first floor.
So the building will effectively be split into 2 flats, each with 3 bedrooms, a bathroom and a kitchen, with the ground floor flat adapted for people with disabilities. There will also be a communal area in the ground floor extension, and all being well, Peter plans on installing the property's own hydro pool. It's a big project, and clearly one that Peter is having to be determined to see through. He's still aiming to spend £50,000 on turning this into a great facility, but he'll have to do most of the work himself with his family's help to keep to that. He also, don't forget, has a full-time job. At the moment, it looks as though his dream project will cost a total of £72,500. Is Peter on the right track? We asked 2 local estate agents to give us their thoughts on Peter's plans so far.
I think it's a very ambitious project for the area. In this area, local businesses do struggle. There isn't an awful lot happening in this village. Businesses don't seem to last long because of the economy here. There is vast unemployment in these valleys, so it is very difficult.
This is a very popular area for mountain biking, and they'll pay good money for good runs. Accommodation which is planned, which is a 2-3-bedroom flat, and one that's going to be completely geared for disabled users. I think that's going to carve quite a nice niche for him, and I think it will attract that type of mountain biker and that in that market.
So, a good idea that fits a niche market, but in a difficult economy. Bit of a mixed bag there. Peter hopes to rent both flats as holiday lets for between £300 and £350 per week, maybe slightly higher in the peak season. And he hopes that the upper flat will generate enough income to subsidise lower rates for the lower flat and use the void periods to accommodate families with low incomes. So this project for him isn't really about money. However, we have to ask, when fully finished and including a pool, what does the agent think a commercial enterprise based on Peter's plan could make?
That's quite a difficult one because there aren't a lot of commercial properties in this area. So I think you'd probably be looking at about £600 per calendar month.
That would mean around a 10% yield. If by some unfortunate circumstances the local economy couldn't sustain the business, and assuming planning permission could be obtained, would Peter get his projected £72,500 investment back if the building were to be turned into 2 residential flats?
I think you would get anything between £375 and £400 per calendar month per unit. To change this into 2-3-bedroom good size accommodation, you would probably market each unit for around about £35,000 to £40,000.
I would put a vacant possession value on each flat of circa £40,000 if it's done to a high standard and to the standard that is intended in the planning permission.
This is a dream project for Peter, but would he think about this plan B?
I may consider splitting it into 2 units if the business didn't take off. But basically, it's quite exciting. I thrive on this sort of thing, and I'm just looking forward to getting into it.
Well, that's it for today, but join us next time for some more auction action.
And stories of property developing.
Look forward to seeing you then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.